Yo, double checking if everybody can hear me. Just double checking. Test, test. Can everybody hear me? Just wanted to jump in a little early. We're about 30 minutes before the stream. And then I want to test the video so that you guys can hear me. So if you can hear me, let me know. That would definitely be appreciated. So anyway, guys, I'm just going to talk, and I'm assuming you guys can hear me. And if there's any issues, please let me know. This is a computex stream. So basically, I want to just, maybe we can speculate what AMD is going to do and kind of can go over what I've seen that I like about computex so far. Can talk about the 3060 or the 5060. Honestly, open to talking about basically anything. I haven't streamed in a while, so I kind of want to start doing it more regularly. All right, so I just have my 5090 install guide up right now real quick. Let me get some links to some stuff that I wanted to show you guys. So there is some pretty cool, while we wait for AMD, there is some pretty cool stuff coming out at Computex. I've kind of just been searching everything that I find cool and, everything that I enjoy so far. One of the things I thought was really, really cool, let me see if I could find it, was Noctua at Computex. They had some pretty sweet stuff at their booth. Let me see if I can find some pictures. So the only annoying thing about not being at Computex is that I can't really find any pictures or anything. I kind of got to dig around. I'll do a recap video using other YouTubers' content like I've done before, obviously giving them all credit. But this is the first thing that I saw that I liked. This is the Noctua AIO. I just think it's pretty cool that they're getting into AIOs. It's not something that we've seen. So it's just, kind of wild to see them get in the AIO game. And they're also doing an RTX 5080. Let me see if I can find it. It's probably on video cards as well. Let's see if... Here we go. No. They have... Noctua is doing a 5080. And I'm sure it's going to cost a ton of money. But that's alright. This is from... Alright, so here's another one. This is the Noctua 5080. That was another thing I thought was pretty cool. Now, obviously, with anything Noctua, it's going to cost a lot of money. And while the 3070, which was the first one, was pretty cool, I didn't think it was worth the price. And same with the 4070 or the 4080 they did. But this looks pretty cool, and it's a chonky boy. So I don't know. I mean, I think this one might be one of the better overclocking models just because of the way Noctua works. And what's going on, Fallout Boy? Thanks for joining. I appreciate everybody joining. I'm going to do an at everyone on my Discord and probably anger people. People don't like when you do at everybody. Now I get it, but especially when it's your own server, they're kind of just like they're not down with it, but I'm doing it anyway. Fallout Boy says I can see Noctua $100 more than an Astral. Yeah, that would be kind of crazy if they priced it that high. I could totally see them doing that, though. Let's see. There was some other really interesting stuff. Now, I heard that Noctua was doing their AIO without a pump. I haven't heard anything else yet on it. I'm sure some stuff will come out in the next 24 hours or so. Let me see what else. Oh, here's one that is pretty good. Pro Gamers Group has a bunch of pretty sweet things going on at Computex. Let me see if I can find it. They're a channel sponsor, being totally transparent. I'm trying to see if I can find their products. All right, so here is Pro Gamers Group. They're kind of like a Corsair. Like I said, being fully transparent, I've worked with them before, but their products are awesome. They represent Haven, which does the HS420 and the HS420 is pretty awesome. If you ask me, I'm a pretty big fan of it. I have a PC that is sitting here with the HS420. I'll give you guys a preview real quick. Here, if you guys could see it, it's by Chroma. It's green, so it looks a little weird, but that looked really weird. Anyway, that's a sneak preview. I'll get you a real shot of it sometime soon. I'm kind of just sitting on the video right now at the request of Pro Gamers Group, actually. But anyway, this one I saw, the BF360, looks pretty awesome. Let me see if they have anything on the website on it yet. This is my case that I use on my PC, and honestly, it's probably the best PC case that I've seen right now. Really big fan of it. Hold on. My buddy might want to jump in. He's live at Computex. Let me see if I don't know how I can add him. Anyway, I'm gonna try. Hold on. Yeah, so the HS420 is pretty sweet. I think it's not the easiest case to build in, but it's my favorite case, and it's some of the highest quality in PC cases I've ever seen. And they don't have anything about it. I'll try to find some pictures on it. The BF360. It's like a smaller case, and it looked really sweet. Other things, I know they're getting into the power supply brand and their chairs. I think they're gonna have the Mesh Flex Pro there, and that is a chair that I use, and it's basically the Amazing Stream. Hold on one second. Let me see if I'm gonna try to add somebody. How do I do that? I'm gonna try. I got one of my buddies is at Computex. Sorry, I'm talking to him while typing. Anyway, their Flex Pro is a really sweet chair. I'm actually sitting on it right now. I don't know if you can see it in the background, but that's supposed to be at Computex too. So that's another thing that's pretty cool. I haven't if we're being honest, I haven't seen too much at Computex right now. Sorry, I'm talking to my buddy. So like I said, I haven't seen a lot yet, because the problem with Computex and trying to get really good coverage is that the day, basically it's like 11 o'clock in the morning there. Essentially, they're like 12 hours ahead of us. So when we go to sleep, their day starts. So you kind of wake up and the coverage comes, or the coverage just starts. Let me hold on one second. So my buddy's trying to jump into the stream, but I don't know how to add him. Hold on. Maybe I'll jump in. Maybe I'll set up a stream. I'll try to set up a stream with him tomorrow. I'll try to do a stream with him tomorrow. Because he's on the floor at Computex, and it would be great to hear what he has to say. So anyway, just catching up. Like I said, it's kind of hard to tell you what I'm super like. There's things that I've seen. I'm not embargoed with anybody but AMD, which I am relatively excited for this stream. It depends on what you're interested in, whether you are going to be excited or not. The one thing I will say about this AMD live stream, which is right here, the one thing I will say about it is that the press deck that we got at CES did not match the actual information released. So I'm wondering if it'll be different here as well. So we'll see. Fallout Boy says the best thing I heard about Computex is Noctua's GPU. Yeah, I was hoping for a little bit more so far at Computex. I guess there's an RTX 5080 Super Leak. I know that's not Computex, but that's something interesting. Copatype brought it up. Now, this is not the first time I've heard it. Red Gaming Tech has done some videos on that, and he's pretty reliable with this stuff, and obviously so is Copatype. I would be guessing that if they release a super lineup, it'll be at CES next year, like they usually do with stuff like this. My buddy Geek of All Trades is here. He says, damn it, man, I was shooting a video. Why you gotta go live now? I gotta go live because AMD is doing their computex stream in 20 minutes. That's why I gotta go live. And I may join you in Vegas. I'm not sure yet, honestly. Tomorrow is kind of when I gotta make the decision. So like I said, there's one of my buddies. He's there. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel. He's gonna be sitting in live on the stream, so it'll be definitely interesting to hear what he has to say. Fallout Boy says I'm betting on a 5080 Ti or 5080 Super. Look, I don't have any info, and anybody who's told me anything has swore me to secrecy. So whatever I'm telling you, take with the biggest grain of salt. I would guess, right, that we would get a 5080 Super, I would assume we get a 5080 Super and a 5070 Ti Super. I don't know if we'll get a 5090 Ti or 5090 Super. I think it depends on what AMD does with RDNA 5. We've all heard rumors on it. I don't know anything. I would guess that AMD or NVIDIA will only do what they have to do. Reluctant Hero says, I'm going to guess that Noctua is another NVIDIA card. Yep. And Overland to Shore, what's up, man? Thank you for joining. I really appreciate everybody joining. I know this is, basically the second stream I've ever done on this channel. I don't do a lot of streams, so I definitely appreciate it. And it's something that I'm going to be doing a lot more on this channel. And there's not a ton to talk about at a Computex right now because it's only been day one, and frankly, we're basically at the mercy of other content creators, and I can promise you that the first day for a lot of these guys is meetings, and then you'll get some YouTube videos, and I haven't had time to watch anything that was put out today as I was kind of busy. Geek of All Trades says, I hate the Ti Super naming. Yeah, I do too. But they released a 5070 Ti on their first batch, which I don't know. I don't know why they did that. I would have did a more powerful 5070, but that's just me. So, who knows? Styles, what's up, man? Thank you for joining. Like I said, I really appreciate you all joining. We're just talking about GPU rumors. It seems like CES is where all of the big things get announced lately. So this will be my third CES coming up. I know this is a Computex chat, but we're just killing time. And it seems like when I was first there was the 4070 Super, the 4070 Ti Super, and the 5080 Super. Last year was outrageous with the 50 series debuting, and AMD with the 9000 series and with the 9950X 3D. So this year I would suspect at least a refresh from NVIDIA. I don't know. One thing that I have seen is that AMD GPUs seem to be keeping pace with NVIDIA GPUs as far as sales go. Now we'll see what happens as stock improves on the NVIDIA side. And I have not seen as many AMD GPUs close-ish to the MSRP range as I've seen from NVIDIA. Catching up on chat, Overland Ashore says, I suspect AMD won't have RDNA 5, but will be UDNA. AMD GPUs this generation have felt like a side project from them that they had to put out. So, interesting you say that, right? One thing that I want to talk about real quick, and I've said this to a lot of people before, right? So the 5090, the full die, I think it's, let me pull it up. I don't want to give you the wrong name. The 5090 die is the GB202, right? So the full GB202, let me pull this up. So the full GB202 is not 5090, right? I wonder, right? Because these companies are small, and me just getting into this industry, everybody knows everybody, and people talk, okay? They talk. There's no way that AMD didn't know what NVIDIA was doing, or NVIDIA didn't know what AMD was doing. This is my tinfoil hat time, right? So, did AMD see the full GB202 die and go, oh man, there's no way we can compete with that. Let's back down, right? Or did NVIDIA have something way more powerful, know that AMD was backing down, and then release GB202 or cut down GB202? It's like the chicken or the egg. Which one came first? Now, I tend to believe that they looked at the whole GB202 die and said, I don't think we can compete with that. But, if the 9070 XT can compete with the 4080 in raster performance, what could a top end, I don't know, 9090 XT do, right? That's just one of the wild things that I think about. Let's see. Geek of All Trades says TI Super and a Pro Series would make sense. Draw out those different models. Yeah, I always wondered. So Geek of All Trades and I, we work in other fields together besides, like we do some stuff in crypto and some stuff in AI. And I was surprised that a Titan never got released for Ada. I guess they never had competition, so they never had to. But, what's up, Bob, for the job? And TI Super is a dumb name, but damn, the TI Super is an unsung hero. Yes, the TI Super is a very dumb name. And I borrowed one to review, and I said it was basically a 4080, but cheaper. And an $800 4080 was great, right? Essentially now, if you can get a 9070 XT or a 5070 Ti for $800, you're happy for it. And that's basically like a 4080. So yes, the 4070 Ti Super was definitely an unsung hero. And we have 13 minutes till the stream starts. Real quick, guys, while I've got you all here, I would like to test if you guys can hear. So I'm going to play one of my videos, and I just need you guys to tell me if you can hear this or not. And it's here. I've been waiting to do this guide for a while, and I finally can do it. This is the RTX 5090. I understand that not a lot of you have one as of the time of this filming, about 2 months out. I'm going to stop that. I just want to know if you guys can hear that. All right. Fallout Boy, do you think they used the full GB202 on like their 96 workstation card? I don't know. I think personally that they have a 90 Ti in their back pocket, and I think that they would release that if RDNA 5 hit. That's my opinion, because I don't think they're ready for I think it's Rubin. I don't remember what the 6000 series code word is. I think it might be Rubin. Let's see. So, catching up. I know that, Overland Ashore says, I know that AMD has stated to shareholders that they are focusing on AI and software the next couple of years. That's all I'm going to say. That's my answer to that, Overland Shore. Fallout Boy says he can hear it, and so does Overland. Thank you so much. Jay Styles says, I have to ask. No, we are all AMD NVIDIA fanboys, but what are your thoughts on the new dual CPU Intel AI card? So, I am not a fanboy of anything. Let's get that straight. I love AMD, I love NVIDIA, and I love Intel. And if we're being frank, I probably have the worst relationship with AMD, as in I have none. I have a tiny one with Intel, and I work with AMD. So, but that's not, I don't want that to affect my bias, because frankly, I want everybody to compete. I want there to be like my dream would be, buy this GPU because of this GPU because of this, and this GPU because of this. I think a new 400 TDP dual CPU Intel AI work card would be amazing. I've heard rumors about it. I would love to try it. I think it could give NVIDIA a run for its money for AI jobs. But here's the thing. AI is a BS term, right? AI means, like, when you talk when you talk about AI, I'm going to go into the crypto territory for 1 second, and I apologize, and we'll leave it, okay? So there's this thing called Salad where you put your GPUs on like a PC and you rent them out to people, right? And they do whatever job they want, like whether it's compute, whether it's rendering, whatever. That is what I would consider AI. So like half the people who talk about AI don't really know what they're talking about. And frankly, I barely know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I think it would be cool. It just depends on its practical uses. I think you're going to see more 5090s in stock because I don't think they have enough AI jobs yet. And I think the amount of people who are willing to pay over $3,000 for a 5090 are done. I don't think there's that many people left. So yeah, so we've got 9 minutes for computex. I am still embargoed and I can't talk about it for another 10 minutes. So Jay Style says they announced it formally yesterday and 48 gigs of memory. All right. Yes. Okay. So I didn't see that video. I'll have to check it out. I have no surprise. Gamers Nexus did a teardown. That's really cool. And I'm going to check that out. I think 48 gigs of VRAM is massive. I think if they can get good jobs going for it, I think that could be a massive shakeup to the industry. Like 48 gigs of VRAM is incredible. I would definitely be interested to see what it can do, really. Overland Ashore says, I actually have the chance to use AI or LMM for schedule management at my internship. That's really cool. I have GPUs for my crypto mining days. I've been debating whether I want to do some kind of LMM model in my shed. It's something that my real job is really taking hold and like my role is ramping up, which is a good thing. But it means that my YouTube channels will have to be more of a side thing, which I will still do a ton of content for Recruitment Tech. But for the other side of it, I'm not totally sure what's going to be the future of that. So I don't know if I'll have as much time to do LMM. And price is stated to be under 1K. Wonder if we could game with it. That's awesome. Intel is coming out swinging. Red Bull, got to stay awake. Intel is definitely coming out swinging. The B570 and the B580 are fantastic GPUs. And I wonder if anything AMD announces at Computex will push any of that kind of space. So that's pretty exciting. So actually, I have a question for you guys. While we have 7 minutes left. Everybody who's here hanging out, chatting, did you guys buy a new GPU this generation? And if so, what did you buy? I think my personal favorite, when everything is said and done, is probably going to be the 5070 Ti, depending on where it ends up price-wise. If AMD can somehow get the 9070 XT back to MSRP, that will win the generation hands down. But we'll see. Overland Ashore says, someone will definitely try to game with it. LMAMO. 4K graphics with tons of shaders and textures. Listen, I maxed out Doom shaders and textures, and it didn't burn through all my VRAM on my 5090. So, Fallout Boy, I know you did buy that Doom Astro 5080, and your system is amazing. It's amazing. Guys, if you're not in my Discord, go join it. I'll put a link down below. We've got a lot of... We do a lot of fun things in my Discord, and one of the things we've been looking at lately is Fallout system is pretty sweet. And I didn't realize you could put events in Discord. That's kind of bad. I feel like I should know that, considering that I have a Discord with 2,000 people in it, which is pretty cool. So there's an invite to my Discord. Fallout Shore says, I bought a 5080 gigabyte WindForce. 5080s are amazing. One of my best videos has been how to overclock them. And I'm going to try to borrow a buddy's 5080 or get a sample sent out to me, because I got my hands on the 5080 Tough for a little bit. That was a pretty awesome GPU. 5 minutes left until the computex keynote starts, I'm pretty excited. I really, really hope. I mean, I know this isn't going to be a retread like Nvidia did, so this one will definitely be more entertaining. Jay Styles says, I bought a 5070 Ti Vanguard for $900. That's pretty cool. You got an Aorus one, but it's on back order. Yeah, back order will take a while. But I really, really like the Vanguard almost as much as I like the Inspire. That's my favorite one. Reluctant Hero says, I bought a 4070 Ti Super in March 2024, and it's paired with a 7800X 3D. That is an amazing system. Basically, that system is the same thing almost as a 4080 paired with a 9800X 3D. So that is awesome, Reluctant Hero. You got a great system. And then you've got, let's see, a 6700 XT paired with a 7600X. I'm curious to see how the 9760 XT pairs with the 6700 XT. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen anything on that. I have no idea what's going on. Ask me in 4 minutes. $1,200 for 5080 is a steal. Honestly, a 5080 at like $1,400 isn't even a bad price, because the way I look at a 5080, I look at it as a 4090 with less VRAM. So if you can get one for like $1,500, people are gonna get mad at me when I say that, but in the current state of this market, it's not terrible. Let's see. Overland Shore says, you were right about the OC on the 5090. This generation would have had a better reputation had Nvidia just made the base clocks better. So I feel like they didn't make the base clocks better so that they could do that on a 5090 or a 5080 Ti. And I guess, oh, it's starting. Let me make sure that we got sound. We do. It's starting, but I'll finish this thought. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, I feel like they probably were like, nah, people will figure out how to OC it eventually anyway, so we could just lower the clocks. Now, that is definitely not consumer friendly and kind of annoying, but there are plenty of bigger channels out there that can advocate for consumers' rights. I just show you what I think is cool. Let's see. My current system has a 4090 and a 7950X. 4090s are amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, so AMD is kind of starting. I guess they're starting. Let me see when the embargo. Hold on. If the embargo's lifted, hold on. Let me look. Okay. So I have 3 minutes left until the embargo lifts. Literally cannot tell you anything for 3 minutes, and then at 11 o'clock Eastern time, I'm going to get an email that says the embargo lifts, and then you can ask me anything you want during this live stream, especially when it gets boring, and I will tell you everything I know. So, yeah, I'm interested to see if this is pre-recorded or not. I don't think it's pre-recorded because my buddy's in there. I'm going to message him, actually. He's a really cool dude. I got to link his channel and everything. All right. So, starting, downgrading because of Doom theme on my power bill will thank me. Hey man, so here's the thing, if you overclock your 5080, it's going to use the same amount of power as a 4090. I didn't undervolt mine, and that's one thing I want to do in the future. I'm asking my buddy if he's in the convention center, and I think he is. He's responding, so I'm kind of curious to see what he says live. I got him in. I was pretty happy with that. So we've got 2 minutes left. All right, quick questions. Anybody have any quick things they want to talk about, or anything that they want to get queued up that you want me to answer? As soon as possible, tell us all the key details and what we need to know to get ahead of others for the next release. Well, you got 1 minute. I have a video that I'm gonna release it right away after this drops, but I'm afraid that they're gonna change stuff up like they did last time, so I'm gonna wait. What is my favorite color? Oh, it's definitely blue. I make all my Java store, I'm gonna start making all my systems blue. All right, cautionary statement. All right, so we've got 1 minute left. I'll mess around with overclocking, but definitely won't go crazy. All right, so my buddy just sent me some pictures from AMD. It looks like there's a lot of screens in there, so a lot of this is probably going to be videos. What up, Crypto? All right, you said music is kind of loud. Okay, I'll lower it.
Advancing
let me know
starts
if
here.
it's too loud. You guys, let me know the volume if it's too loud, okay? All right, so
At
the
the center
embargo
of data.
is lifted. The best, there's going to be AI, Threadripper,
Driving
and
experiences.
GPUs. So that is the
Building
biggest thing
worlds.
that you guys are going to see. Lucky Hero. All right, so from what I've seen so far, the 90
Developing an open
XP
system.
will be 8 gigs, and it will
And
be
putting it
16
all
gigs, and
At
I
your fingertips.
I think you did not get a lot of information.
With the
right?
power of
I think
AI,
it's going to be somewhere between a 5060
this is
and a
AMD.
5060 Ti. Okay. Of course they can drop their 6900 XT video, which means that I need to drop mine because the embargo just listed. So we're gonna go ahead and do that while I'm talking to you guys. Actually.
大家好, and
So-
good morning from Vibrant Taipei.
All right.
And thank you all for
while I
joining
do
us
it- all right,
here,
so
as
just
well as
listen
those
while I
watching
go ahead
us
and go
live
find
from
this
all
video
around
and
the
drop it.
world. It's always inspiring to be surrounded by so many brilliant minds and bold ideas. And there's no better place
I
than
knew they were gonna
computex,
drop that video right away.
here in the
I
world's
wasn't sure
silicon
if everything was going
crossroads.
to change or not.
Let's talk about the future of compute.
right, so
We've got a
let's
great
go
show for you
find
here
it.
today. At AMD,
feel dumb
we
now.
believe high-performance computing is the foundation of the modern
Thanks for
world.
telling me
and we're
they
committed to
released-
advancing it
they
to help
did
solve
that,
the
so I'm
world's most
uploading
pressing
mine to
challenges
YouTube right now.
across the cloud, healthcare, manufacturing, communications,
Hold on a second.
automotive, PCs, and gaming. AMD technology is everywhere. Every day, billions of people rely on our products, often without even realizing it. Today, the most exciting frontier for high-performance computing is AI. It continues to
right, so
redefine how we
there's my
interact with
first
technology,
one.
and our
All right.
solutions are accelerating this,
All right, still
this
too
disruptive
loud?
force.
Is it too loud, guys?
In a data center,
Sorry, if it's still
AMD
too loud, I'll
EPYC
lower it
is
again.
the CPU of choice for leading
Is it better now?
hyperscalers from all around the world, powering internal workloads
All right,
across
lower the
platforms
sound
like
by like
Facebook,
30%.
Instagram, and Netflix.
All right, I'm sorry, guys. I got it
AMD
updated.
Instinct also powers some of the world's most popular
Okay, so they
generative AI
they're telling you
platforms,
$349?
delivering performance and efficiency
So, all right,
they
so I
depend
did not
on.
hear
Data
anything about
centers
the
are
price.
critical
My
to
press
AI.
briefing does not have
But
the
here's
price,
the truth.
but
Not
Hardware
every
Unboxed is
workload
on the
needs to live
ground.
in the cloud,
So,
and not every breakthrough needs
I
a
don't know.
supercomputer. In fact, some of the most powerful AI is happening on your personal device right now, with smaller models calling on local data to get instant insights. Today at Computex, we're thinking big by going small,
All
showing
right,
how
so
personal
let
devices are
me-
driving real-time AI, breaking world records, transforming gaming, and unlocking
Oh, boy.
powerful new experiences.
this intro
Small
is-
where breakthrough begins.
This
and
intro
it's
is
never
all
been
AI.
so powerful.
Yeah, look, this guy. All right,
Today's
I'm going to tell you
show is
right now.
divided into three
There is
chapters:
a
gaming,
ton
AI
of AI
PCs,
in this
and
presentation.
workstations.
I
And I want to
have the
start
press
with the one
deck up in
closest
front
to
of
my
me,
heart.
and
Gaming has
I
shaped my
literally
career
skipped.
and remains one of my greatest
I literally
passions.
skipped out
Just a couple
on
weeks
a
ago,
lot of it
I
because
revisited
it's
the
just-
Elder Scroll
it's
Oblivion
AI,
in a stunning new remaster.
AI,
Wandering through the game brought back nostalgia.
AI. So
But what
like,
stood out most was
yeah,
how far
it's a lot of
technology has
AI.
come.
I gotta make
Characters
a
now
thumbnail
move
real
fluidly.
quick while I'm
Lighting and
talking to
shadows
you.
feel alive
You guys
with
can watch
real-time
me
effects.
edit on the fly.
And environments are lush
So yeah,
with
the biggest.
incredible
So I
level of
will say
details.
that there
The
is
remaster
going
is a
to
reminder
be
just how far
a,
technology has come. At
there's going to
AMD,
be a
enabling
AI
that
workload
level of
card
wonder
unveiled
is our
today.
mission.
So that'll
And it
be
fills me with
that one will be
pride
interesting.
to know
And
that
as
more
I'm
than
scrambling
1
to get
billion
this video
people
out,
around the world power the gaming experiences with AMD hardware and software
which I'm
more
gonna
than
drop
any
in
other
like 2
company.
seconds.
In the last few months, we launched some of our
It's
most
just funny how
ambitious
people drop it
products
so
yet,
fast. All right,
designed to deliver
350.
extraordinary performance.
So if
and
it's
visual
true, if it's
fidelity.
300 for the 8 gig,
Powered by
I'm going to tell you this.
second-generation
Honestly,
3D
I
VCAS
think an 8
technology,
gig card
we brought to
at
market the
$300
world's best
is good.
desktop and mobile processors
in my
for gaming,
review
for
that's
gamers
coming on the
and
5060
creators.
Ti,
Crushing
I
gaming
feel
benchmarks
that if
while
they charge
handling
$300
demanding
for it,
creative
it would be a
workloads with
good card.
incredible
I
ease.
still believe in 8 gig
We also
cards,
introduced the RD4
especially at $300.
architecture,
The
built to
9060
make
Ti
enthusiast-level
8 gig is a
gaming
solid card.
accessible to everyone.
So if
Fans
the
wrapped
9060
around city
XT
blocks
based
all over
on
the world
the
just to be among
specs,
the first to experience what we built. That level of
I
passion
think
doesn't just show up.
it could
it's earned.
be.
To everyone
I think
in
it
the
could be very
gaming
solid,
community,
especially at the price
thank
point
you.
that they're going with.
Your passion drives us. Your feedback shapes us. And your
Just my
imagination
opinion on that
inspires
subject,
us.
though.
And know that big
Alright,
things
sorry,
are
I'm just
coming
getting this
with
out
plenty of
real
exciting
quick,
updates we have in the
'cause I need
pipeline.
to compete
At
with the
AMD,
big dogs,
our mission for
as I'm not
graphics
a
is
big
clear.
dog.
We want to create
Let's see, let me
immersive,
just do this real
universally
quick.
accessible experiences that dissolve the boundaries of reality. But here's the truth. Hardware alone can make this vision a reality. As we push into advanced graphics with techniques like
So
path
much
tracing,
AI.
traditional methods
So much
buckle
AI,
under the weight
guys.
of
Like,
complexity
it's-
and cost. To bring this
I'm gonna be honest
future
with
to
you. It
every
was
gamer,
rough getting through the
we
press
needed
deck,
a
'cause it was
different
just like
approach.
AI, and I was
This
thinking,
led to the
oh,
incredible
we're gonna have to have
partnership
something good to
with
talk
Sony
about.
and PlayStation
Which
in the
I
form
think,
of Project
I
Amethyst.
think I will.
A joint
I think we'll have some good
co-development
stuff to
effort
talk
to
about.
reimagine
Alright,
the future
so
of immersive
it's done,
gaming,
and I
unlocking
can
new
list it. So
levels
my
of realism,
9060 XT video
responsiveness,
is
and
public
creativity
now.
across
Alright,
console,
so,
PC, and the cloud. Together, we've developed the
I was gonna
advanced
do
models
shots for
powering
each time he
FSR's
says
next
AI.
generation upscaling
Yeah, I'll give you a big
and frame
long Red Bull drink
generation.
for that.
This collaboration paved the way for FSR4
So I do think
launched early this
Amethyst
year.
is cool
What
with
started as a
FSR4.
traditional upscale
I saw
has
a little
evolved
bit
into
of
a
that,
machine learning engine
but not a
that
ton.
optimizes every
And-
frame in real
Okay,
time.
so if it's
At
confirmed
its
that the
core,
8 gig is
ML
300
super
and the 16
resolution
is
predicts
349, like I said, that
reconstructs
pricing is
missing
incredible.
detail, instantly upscaling
Here,
it to higher
I
resolution.
can share with you
the
the
result
press
is razor-sharp visuals,
docket.
higher frame rates.
Here, let me show
and
you this. I'll
dramatically
give you a
lower
quick.
latency. Let's take a look at a side-by-side
Hold
demo.
on, are they gonna? What are they
The
talking
footage
about?
you're
All right, let's
seeing
watch
is from the Ghost
FSR4
of
real quick.
Tsushima, a stunning journey to feudal Japan. Compared to FSR3,
All right, I appreciate the
FSR4
honesty that they're
renders
showing it's
every
coming
blade
from
of grass
720p.
with sharp clarity. And fog
I
rolls
appreciate
in
that. I hate
without
when they don't
obscuring
tell us
detail.
what that is.
These are the moments
So,
where detail usually fades.
Ghost of Tsushima is
But
pretty
FSR4
solid.
preserves the scene and honors
So
the
come on,
artistry
show us.
behind it. In particle-heavy scenes like Fire and Ember, FSR4 keeps every detail sharp, even in chaos.
That's
In early
a solid
generations,
improvement. Look,
effects like these
I'm
would
not an
blur.
upscaling
Where
fan.
FSR4,
All right, I am not an
smoke moves
upscaling
past the
fan.
tree.
But I
The branches
understand
stay
that a lot
crisp.
of you are.
No
And if you're an
ghosting,
upscaling
no
fan, this
smearing,
looks great,
just
especially
creator's
at
intent.
the higher end, right? Because I
FSR4
believe
brings
that
cinematic
FSR
immersion
and
to every
DLSX work
gamer
a lot better on
without the
higher end
need for
GPUs,
brute
which
force
I
hardware.
personally disagree
But
with on my
super
philosophy.
resolution was
But
only the opening chapter.
if you can
With
get FSR4 on, say, the
we want to
7900
harness
XTX,
machine learning,
you're gonna be able to get
deliver
some pretty good frames in
breathtaking
4K,
visuals, enable developers
honestly.
to craft real-time worlds that
All right,
everyone can
Overland
enjoy.
Shore says
And the
9060
next
doesn't have
chapter is
multi-frame
almost
gen.
here.
How does that stack
I'm
up to the
super
5060?
excited we brought FSR4 to the latest RDNA4 architecture.
All right, so I'm going to
In the
do some
second half of
multi-frame
this
gen
year,
testing. The only
RDNA4
GPU
gamers
I've
can
done
expect something
multi-frame gen
big
testing
with
on is the
FSR
5090
Redstone.
and on Doom,
The
and it
machine
actually
learning
was pretty
pipeline
good.
layers advanced
I can't believe
neural
I'm saying
rendering
that.
techniques on top of super resolution, pushing performance and
Okay,
fidelity
so,
even further. Let's break
So
it
it looks
down
like RDNA
step by
4
step.
or
To
FSR
understand
only
why
works on
Redstone
RDNA
will be a
4,
game
FSR
changer
4,
for RDNA4 users. At its core,
is a bummer.
Redstone tackles one of the graphics' toughest
I was really kind of hoping we'd
challenges,
see FSR4 for the
realistic light
7900
behavior,
XTX.
how it bounces, reflects,
That really
casts shadows,
sucks.
and scatters smoke or glass. Instead
When
of
they go to
brute force
AI,
path
I'll
tracing,
switch. I'll share
FSR
my
Redstone does
slide
it
of
smartly,
the
brings
9060
cinematic
XT.
realism in a far more efficient and accessible way. To see how all of this
Hey,
comes
listening to
together,
AMD talk about
let's
path
start with a
tracing is
scene
good.
that doesn't have any of
AMD
these
needs
advanced
to do
FSR
more with path
technologies
tracing.
applied to it.
Hey, Crypto Clutch,
Let's
thanks for
first
joining.
apply
Everybody
one of
who's
our
joining,
techniques
whether
called
you're coming or
neural
going,
radiance caching,
by the
or
way, I
NRC.
want to tell you that
A
you're
layer
all
of technology
valued,
that
and
reuses
I couldn't
and
do this
refines
without you
lighting
guys.
from nearby pixels and past frames. Powered by machine learning, NRC predicts how light moves through a scene in real time.
Okay, somebody
boosting
says
image
somebody
quality,
texted me that my
cutting
camera
noise,
mic
and improving performance.
isn't as.
Next,
let me
we're
double check
introducing ray
something.
regeneration,
I
a
hope I didn't mess this
game-changing
up. Hold on.
technology, and this is where things get really exciting.
No,
Trained on a
my
clean
thing is
output
good.
of incomplete renders.
Thanks
it
for the heads
filters
up,
noise
by
in
the
real
way.
time,
But this is,
delivering
I think this is the best
smooth,
quality I can get
detailed
right
image
now.
Typically reserved for high-end hardware. The visual
gonna
quality
have to
improvement is
modify
truly
this.
remarkable.
Somebody
FSR
just
then
texted me, and
applies
I
our
really, really
previously
appreciate
demonstrated
him.
MLSR
You know who you are,
technology,
getting a hold of me
boosting
and
frames
texting me
while
that.
preserving the photorealism achieved with NRC and ray regeneration. with image
Man,
quality and performance optimized.
I don't like
the final step.
frame
is
generation is
immersion.
tough for me
And we do
because I
that through
see
frame
things that are
generation.
small that
It
aggravate
predicts
me, and
and
it kind of
inserts
takes
new
me out of
frames
like
for smoother
when you're in
motion
a
and higher
game, it kind of
frame rates.
ruins it.
And to
Like it
keep
ruins
gameplay
the
sharp and
immersion is what
responsive,
I'm looking
we
at.
pair with our proven
But some
anti-lag
games
technology.
do frame gen.
With FSR Redstone, we're bringing
they're okay with
path-trace
it.
fidelity to all
FSR
RDNA4
Redstone.
users, bring us closer to blurring the lines between
never-
the virtual and the real.
I haven't heard of
I
that.
want to give you a glimpse of the full capability
All right,
of
let's see what they're
FSR
gonna tell-
Redstone.
let's see.
Let's take a look.
FSR Redstone, guys. Okay, so maybe because we're watching this via YouTube and I have it on a 1440 display, I don't know, it doesn't look, maybe it's just getting lost on me in YouTube, but it doesn't look that good, does it? Like, I see it could look good. Like, do you see the shadow, the puddles, the reflections in the puddles? They look good. I just feel like it's not translating on YouTube. Right? You guys feel that way?
How cool was that?
Oh, I didn't realize that was you,
We're
Logan.
incredibly
Thanks, man,
excited to bring
for messaging
FSR
me on that. I
Redstone to
appreciate
all
it.
RDNA4 gamers later this year. But that's just the beginning.
All right.
Starting June 5th, over 60 games will support FSR 4, with plenty more coming
60
later
games
this
on
year.
FSR 4. Let's
but
see what
we're
they
not
are.
stopping there.
Nope, not
The
telling us. They
response
didn't
from
tell us that in
team
the
has
press
been
embargo.
incredible. So we're taking things
They didn't talk about
further.
Redstone
Today,
either. The
I'm so
press
excited to introduce
docket
the
they gave
AMD
us really kind of
Radeon
sucks.
RX 9660
Okay, this is
XT,
what they
the
released. All right, this is what we
fastest
wanted to
graphics card
see.
available under $350.
$350. If they can hold that MSRP, that's incredible. It's going to kill the
Available
5060
for
Ti,
elite
16 gig.
1440p gaming, it features 16 gigabytes of VRAM and delivers 821 TOPS of AI compute to unlock the full potential of FSR Redstone.
Okay, so it
When
has
comes to
less ray
performance,
trasing
the
cores
960 XT
than the
pulls ahead.
5060 Ti.
It's
It's got
6%
4 less,
faster
just so
across
you guys
40
know.
game titles without upscaling or frame generation. In games like Spider-Man 2 or Call of Duty Black Ops 6, that lead jumps over 20%. And in ray trace titles like Hogwarts Legacy, the 9060 XT 16 gigabytes of VRAM gives an even bigger advantage. It also delivers 15%
So
better
take this with a
performance per
grain of
dollar
salt,
than both the 8
but
gig
they're
and
very
16 gig
fair
versions
on
of
their
the 5060
benchmarks.
Ti.
Based on what
We're
I've seen before from
excited
AMD
for
compared to
more
what I've
gamers to
tested,
experience the
and I am
RDNA4
biased
family,
a
starting
little
on
bit on
June
this,
5th
but they are
worldwide.
more fair than NVIDIA. And they just
Now,
told you they're
let's
comparing it
talk
to the
about
8 gig model,
PCs.
which is an unfair
AI
comparison.
is reshaping the future,
But
the PC
if the 16
remains
gig
the
model can do
foundation.
more than that,
It's where performance
essentially
meets
from my
purpose,
testing,
and where
the
innovation hits your
16
hands
gig
every
model,
single time
or I'm
you
sorry, the
open
8
lid.
gig 5060
At
Ti
AMD,
is about
our process to
20%
building
on
great
average better
devices
than the
starts
4060 Ti.
by listening to
8
what
gig.
users want and how it
So if
interacts
you're
with
telling me
technology.
that for
We collaborate
$350
with
we can
developers
get
to create
about
software that
a
empowers
30-ish
people
percent
with tools
improvement
that
over the
make them more
4060
productive
8
and
gig,
creative.
that
We
is
then
huge,
partner
and
with
that
our
might
top OEM
kill
partners
the
to design
B580.
systems that reflect this vision.
That's
Sleek,
That's pretty good.
light, powerful, and crafted
Well, I
to fit
can only view it at
seamlessly to every
720p on
user's
YouTube.
world.
I'll have to rewatch
Devices
on my
that don't
4K
just
TV.
perform, but
Yeah,
also
I'm gonna have to
elevate
do
the
that too.
experience.
I'm not
and
watching
only
it on the
then
main
we push the
one.
boundaries of silicon design.
So
building breakthrough
honestly,
architecture
if
and
you look at
power-efficient
those
systems
here, I'm
to
gonna
unlock
put those
new
up real quick.
capabilities, ensuring
Let me
that every
put up
innovation in
the
software
slide. Let me
and
get the
design is
slide.
backed
Where is it?
by
Hold on. Now
unbeatable
that they're
hardware.
public knowledge.
This is how we build category-defining
I
devices.
gotta find the
From
slide.
top
I'll
to
show you
bottom,
the one they showed
our
me in the
AI
press
PC
kit.
lineup sets the
So
industry
let me
standard.
add
Ryzen
this
AI 7
on
crushes the
my
competition
stream. Give me-
with 30% more
Give me
performance.
1 second.
Ryzen AI 9 pushes that to
Window
60%.
capture.
And Ryzen AI Max is an outright monster, delivering 3x
Alright,
the performance
so
of its
here-
closest rival.
Here
It's
is
so
what
powerful,
they gave me.
Ryzen AI Max
I'm
even
kinda just-
outperforms
I'm-
Apple's
I'm kinda
brand
just
new
wanna show you this real
M4 Pro
quick.
by
This
15%.
is the specs
But our goal wasn't
that-
just to break records.
that the 9060
Instead, we want
XT
to lay the
is.
foundation
So,
for the next era
It's
of
got
personal
6
computing.
less RT
Let me
cores,
explain.
but overall,
2 years,
if that
AI
that
has
price point is
evolved
legit,
so
that's really,
fast.
really,
Context
really
windows have
impressive.
exploded.
So
And
yeah, I
now-
just
now
wanted to share that with
understand
you real
text, speech, and images.
quick.
They've grown sharper, more personal, moving
sorry,
from
let me make
pattern
this
matching to real reasoning. But the real game changer yet may be
Alright,
size.
sorry about
Because
that.
in
I
many
just wanted
cases,
to
smaller
share that.
isn't just good enough. It's better.
Let's see.
Larger models are incredibly powerful,
I hope
but they are
AMD can
slow,
rein in their retail
costly,
partners
and
to
less
stop
accurate
them
for
from tacking
specialized
an extra
tasks.
$100 on.
Smaller.
So,
Class 2 models, on the other
The
hand, are
good
faster,
thing,
sharper,
at least,
and can run
is if they
anywhere.
tack another
This
$100
is
on
where
it,
AI
then it's going to
PCs
still
shine.
probably be
With
better
neural
than the 50,
engines on
60,
board, they cut latency,
16 gig.
skip
But
the
yes,
cloud,
tacking another
and bring
$100
private
on it
AI
would
to your
not
notebook.
be very good.
Ryzen
And there's a
AI
lot of
300
AI.
series was built exactly for this.
The next
Across
thing that you
industries,
guys are
we're
going to
seeing
see,
teams swap
there's going to be,
complex
they're going to talk about
workloads
Threadripper.
for fluid on-device intelligence.
And
Consider case
let me
of
see what else.
teachers.
They talk about
AI
Threadripper
PCs let schools customize
and
models to match their
an
curriculum,
AI
all
workload
while
card.
running
It's
locally.
the AI
Or
workload
think
card is pretty
paralegals
awesome
who
and
deal with
pretty
mountains
amazing.
of documents daily.
So I
Specialized
think that's
models
it
on
for the
AI
gaming
PCs
stuff.
speed up
I'm going to stay
discovery,
and watch the whole
search,
stream.
and summarization,
And you guys are
while
welcome to
keeping
hang out as long as
privileged
you want.
information secure.
I
And
think
for
the stream,
productivity
I think it's
warriors
only
on
going to
the
go
go,
about an hour,
AI PCs
45
are
minutes to an
game
hour
changer.
if I had to guess.
Think of a software developer using his on-device
But yes,
coding
it is
copilot to speed
a
up
ton
projects
of
at
AI.
35,000
But-
feet up in the air.
I mean,
Wherever you look,
let's see, I'm
AI
at like 13
PCs are
times so far.
revolutioning how we work.
But like I
And
said, I
today,
really
we
think
have
the
a
9060
real-world demo.
XT is going to be
I
a
have
great
someone
card.
supposed
It's
to
going to be
be
a great
here to
card
help
review.
me.
I think it's going
Let's
to
call
do
her live.
really well. Reluctant Hero says I can barely make out what you're saying
Hey
over
Chen,
stream.
where
All
are
right,
you? The show has started.
let me lower this
Hi
again.
Jack，我在后台呢。
Now Chen, are
All
you
right,
really
sorry about
testing
that. I think I went too
these
far
live
away
at
from my mic.
computex?
And
we try using our
listen,
new
this is
voice
kind
to
of like
voice
a
speech
work in
translation
progress of
AI
me
model
learning how to
help me.
stream
But
over
first,
a YouTube
can you
or over
show your
a video.
iPhones? Everyone knows this
So
is
I
live
will
and not a
definitely listen to
pre-recorded
this
video.
and I will work on changes and I will make it better in the
没问
future.
题，这是我的手机。
So can you guys hear me now?
It's okay. This is my phone.
I'm here to
Hey,
hear more
Chen,
about
can you
path
describe the
tracing.
application you're currently
I
using?
don't look.
这是一个语音到语音
I'm
的
gonna
翻
be
译工
totally
具
honest with you
It's
guys.
a
I
translation
mean,
tool from voice
I
to
don't
voice.
think you're gonna get
And Chen, are you ready to join me on
AMD
stage? How
path
you
tracing
feeling?
that much this
我准备好了
generation.
我也感觉非常紧
Um,
张。
Let me know if you guys can't hear me,
I'm
by the
ready.
way.
I
Okay,
feel
much
very
better.
nervous
Great.
too.
I think.
Why don't you come and join me
So
on
here's the
stage?
problem with path
We
tracing.
want to show
All right,
you
I
a
did some
glimpse
Doom
of what's
testing
to
on the
come with
high-end
AI
AMD
models.
cards, and
Hundreds
path
of
tracing is
millions of
off,
people in the
and
world
it was
cannot read
getting
and
like
write,
70
but they can
FPS
speak,
in
and
4K
it's
native on the
wonderful to see how
9060
AI
X,
will
the
connect the
9070
world.
XT.
And it's not
I
perfect yet.
don't
So
think
it
AMD will be
absolutely
able to
work
do
with
path
increased
tracing this
accuracy
gen.
and reduced
You got to
latency.
remember,
We can
the ray
see the
tracing on a
application of
9070
AI in
XT
real
is like a
time. Hey, Chang, there you are. Thank
4060,
you for joining
or
me.
I'm sorry,
How
a
you doing?
4070
Hi,
Super
Jack, I'm feeling
equivalent,
good.
give or
Thank you for
take.
having me.
So what do
And
we have for
that's
us
not a
today?
path tracing
There are a
GPU.
lot of AI
Basically, if you want path
applications running
tracing,
on
it's the
our AI
5090
PCs.
and the
Today, I'm
5080
going to show
or
you
bust
an
at this
AI
point.
agent for radiologists.
So why did
So
you
that
choose
part kind of
radiologists?
stinks.
For
But
radiologists
if
and
you're here for the
healthcare
budget
in
end,
general,
I think
data
AMD
needs
hit a
to be
slam
private,
dunk out of the
and it's
park.
really important
But
to
there is
run
also no
AI
reference
agents on a
model, which
local
I don't
machine
understand.
running a private network.
And
Sense. So what,
I think the
problems do you
wild
see
thing to
help
me
radiologists solve?
is
First, there is an overall
I'm trying to think of the way to word this.
radiologists
So
on
the
time,
97,
and
the
for
5060
radiologists, they
Ti
have much
16
work to
gig
do every
model
day, including
is
X-ray image
slightly
analysis,
better
pulling up prior cases for
ish
reference,
in the range
and
of from what I've
administrative
seen
workloads
to
like
the
writing
3070 Ti.
comprehensive reports.
And Chang, I love how
So,
we're helping
like,
the medical community maximize their time to help
are
more
you gonna
people.
buy-
Why don't we get started with the demo?
Because so right now you can get a 3070 Ti for like
Here is the
$350 on
AI
the used
agent
market.
for
You can get a
radiologists.
3080 for like
First,
four
let's upload the
375 to
recently
400
taken
depending on where you
X-ray
look,
image
right?
to the agent.
Are
What
you
it
gonna
is doing right
buy
now is using our large language
a
model, which has been
$350
trained
90
on a medical data set to
uh,
analyze
a
potential
9060
diseases of the
XT,
uploaded image.
a
As you can
$350
see,
9070
private-
XT
to
over
protect the
a
privacy of
$400
patients,
3080,
there is no network connected to the
which
laptop.
only has 10 gigs of VRAM.
AI
It's
agent
kind of
is
funny to
fully
think about.
running on our local PCs.
So it's like,
That
do you
makes
get a little
sense.
bit worse
He is
performance in
running it locally, so we're
1440p,
not
but you
transferring
get more
using
VRAM?
data to
But
the
does
cloud.
VRAM,
Yeah.
if you were
Here is the
comparing a
output.
3080 10 gig
Traditionally, radiologists
versus
need to
a
spend
9060
hours to search for
XT
similar
16
cases for
gig,
reference.
right?
Now with the
Which
AI agents,
a new
less
model
data
is
prompts,
basically probably, like, let's just say they cost about the
Show me
same.
reference
Do you
images.
want slightly more performance with less VRAM VRAM or slightly less performance with more
Within
VRAM.
5 seconds, you'll get a
That's
list of
interesting.
reference images
Because I think the
showing
one
up
thing you're going to notice on these
Just
lower
because
end
it's
cards,
over,
I
that was
truly do
hours
believe
of
this.
research. And the AI was able to
And
understand
I'm
so
pro more
much,
VRAM,
so
right? I'm
5
always pro more
records per
VRAM.
second for the document
But I
used as a reference.
feel like
Yeah. Additionally,
You're
need to
I'm,
write
I'm trying to
comprehensive
figure out the
reports for
words because I
peer
really don't
review.
care about what they're
Let's
talking
see
about right
how
now.
AI agent can help out with
Your
that.
your settings are going to have to get
Let's
lowered
have
before you
write a
lose your textures,
comprehensive
right? And that's kind of my opinion.
reports. Since we're
Auto
in Taipei,
translation doesn't seem
in traditional
impressive.
Chinese.
Didn't Google do that
Perfect.
already? Yeah, they definitely
For
did
peer
do that
review.
already. So Reluctant Hero says, I can barely run Cyberpunk path tracing on my 4070 Ti Super with DLSS balance
So I think this
for
application
65
does
FPS.
really
Yeah,
save
for
a
sure
lot of
you
time.
can.
I can see how
Because
AI
my
can help professionals
5090
multiple
gets
sites, even
like
beyond
31
the field.
FPS on
Chen,
path
thank
tracing
you
on
so
4K
much for
native.
taking time to help us with these
So I
demos,
believe that.
And I will improve my Chinese.
Thank you, Jack.
So Fallout Boy brings up a good point and why I love streaming
When
with you
models are
guys.
tailored
He
to
says
real
that
data and real
even if they
problems,
cost the
they don't
same,
just
the
optimize
9060 XT
workflows.
has FSR4. Oop, buffering. Is that me? Is that me? Or is that everybody? Oh, that's not good. Oh, I think that's me. Let me refresh that. That's odd.
To real data and
Yeah,
real
that was me.
problems.
Sorry about that.
They don't just optimize
Yeah, so
workflows.
FSR4 is a good point. And why is it why are you buffering?
To real data and real problems. They don't
I'm
just
sorry about that,
optimize
guys.
workflows. They
FSR4 is a very good point. Oh, nope, this is everybody. Okay, so reading the chat, everybody is having problems on their stream. It's not just me. So while we wait for the stream to come back, let's just keep talking. All right. So, looking at that chat is hilarious. FSR4 is a very good point, and I think FSR4 is definitely better than DLSS. So it really just depends what DLSS NVIDIA will give the 30 series. That's a very interesting point. And I'm going to need to get a 9060 XT because I think that you want to hear a comparison that really interests me. The 9060 XT versus the 3080 is a comparison that I plan on doing a lot of testing on. So I'm gonna look for a lot of testing on that because that's really interesting. Let me see. I'm not getting anything from AMD via email. Everybody keeps saying
real data and real
NVIDIA
problems.
attack.
They don't just
It looks like we're
optimize
back.
workflows. They transform.
Nope.
Hi everyone.
I'm asking my buddy who's live. I'm telling him. I'm telling him it's going down, so I'm gonna ask him where we're at. Let's see. Reluctant Hero says, "Yeah, I want to try FSR4 on the 9060 XT for $350. 9070 XTs are still stupidly overpriced." So that's the problem. Is I don't necessarily think they're overpriced, right? I compare everything to like
All on device
the
and without
RTX 4080. That's kind of like my benchmark to
In
how good a
enterprise,
GPU is
on the
based on
other
its
side,
price in the current
our
market.
customer,
And I think if you can get a
in enterprise, on the
9070
other side,
XT for
our
like
customer
$800,
in finance,
I think it's a good deal.
consulting, manufacturing,
And while I
they
paid
all
$600
have
for mine on
started
launch
using
day,
AMD
not everybody
powered
can do that.
ThinkPad
And
ThinkPad
yeah, I
laptops.
definitely
And they are seeing
don't.
faster
I think you could do a lot
onboarding,
worse.
better multilingual
What are you even
collaboration,
talking
as you
about
shown,
now? I think I
more
lost.
efficient meetings
uh,
using features like real-time
Let's get closed
summarization,
captioning back.
file search, and many other things.
Look, I completely agree. That's
Subtitles.
What AI should be doing. Helping
English
people work
auto-generated,
faster,
but I'm not
think more,
getting any
focus on
closed
what really
caption.
matters.
So I can't
That's
really
what
hear what
Impact
they're
Center is
saying,
strong
nor do I
portfolio.
honestly care what they're
Lenovo is one of our
saying.
deepest partners, and we're
'Cause it's
so
just-
proud of
it's just
co-developing
AI,
leading
right?
AI
Like,
PCs
it's
together,
A little bit
whether
of
it's
AI
ThinkPad,
here and
ThinkBook,
AI
or
there.
Yoga. And
All right,
this
I'm trying to
year,
get the
lab got even
subtitles
stronger.
back.
Sure, absolutely. So
Let's
this
see,
year we
subtitles
introduced
options.
ThinkPad P16
Reset.
Gen 4. That's our most
There we go.
powerful AMD-based mobile workstation.
All right,
built
they're talking about
for the
Copilot now.
professionals
That's
with very high
boring.
demanding AI workloads.
$600
Then
MSRP.
we have the
Yeah,
ThinkPad
but here's the thing you got to
Gen
understand,
6
right?
we
Nothing's
launched
hitting
last
MSRP.
year.
I paid $700 over MSRP for my 5090, and I'm happy about it.
Corporate laptops
So, like,
and offered
I feel like MSRP is tough.
To the previous generation.
And honestly, I feel like AMD
The creator space
gave us all a lot of
Your
chances to
S7
buy the
2-in-1
MSRP card if you live by Micro Center.
AMD AI
So I don't know.
with a convertible
I
form
thought they did a
factor
good job. Most
for
people disagree.
unparalleled creative
Dude is rambling
and
on
last but
stage.
not least,
Well, talking about the Legion Go is kind of cool.
Hold
on. Yeah, talking about the Legion Go is kind of cool, at least. When AMD did their press docket for CES, they accidentally assumed that the new Steam Deck was going to use their GPU. Their CPU GPU combo, which was awkward. Nope, it's down again. Down again. Oh man, that's funny. Man, he's killing my stream. So, all right, guys. So I know I'm losing people, and I respect that because it's 11:30 and people have to go to bed, and there's really nothing going on. So, what do you guys actually want to talk about? Like, we're gonna keep this because they're still gonna talk about stuff. But like, if you guys have something that you want to talk about, I am definitely all ears. They are definitely talking about so much AI. So much AI.
We are investing heavily in AI software experiences that are.
Sorry, I'm asking my buddy who's at the event is asking me what I think, and I just told him so much AI. I mean, I kind of want them to talk about more handhelds because they didn't talk anything about the handhelds in the press docket.
It can summarize meetings, search documents, answer questions.
my buddy, who's there said they got the gaming out of the way real quick, and he thinks they got it out of the way quick because it's late and they wanted people to watch. All right, so let's see. Fall Out Boy wants to know how well do I think the 5080 and the 5090 will age. It's funny you say that because the 4080 and the 4090, the 4080 a lot of people hated and I loved it, and I think the 4080 has been aging great. I think they'll both. I think the 5080 and the 5090 will age great. I think all of these GPUs will age great. I mean, I literally just built on my shelf back there a 3090 PC, and I actually think that once the 3090 drops a little bit in price, I think the 3090 is the best 4K, the 1440p GPU out there. I mean, the 3090 and the 3090 Ti are basically a 4070 Super, 4070 Ti, which are fantastic GPUs for 1440p, and the 3090 and the 3090 Ti have a bajillion gigs of VRAM, which means those things will age so much better than everything else, and will be 1440p cards forever. And you can undervolt them to save so much power. I've undervolted a 3080 to save 100 watts before. So I think I think the 90 series with all the extra VRAM is going to age so incredibly amazing. Honestly, is what I think. J Style says, why haven't released MSRP values at this point? I mean, that's a fair thing to state. I mean, I think MSRP is a marketing ploy in this marketing generation as much as anything, right? I think MSRP gets good hype, and I think with MSRP, the expectation is that you have a shot at getting them for MSRP on launch day, and then that maybe they're like $100 more. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Let's see. Fall Out Boy says, I was going to say, isn't the 3090 Ti just above a 4070 Ti? No, the 4070 Ti is actually basically the same as a 3090 Ti. Now, I don't have a 3090 Ti anymore, so I can't actually test them, but they're within the, I'm trying to think of the right word. They're within a few percentage points, like 2 or 3 percentage points to the point where it doesn't matter. Reluctant Hero says, thoughts on the 7900 XTX compared to the 9070 XT? The 9070 XT is a way better card. Hands down, it's just a flat out better card. I think if you own a 90 or a 7900 XTX, you shouldn't be upset about it. But I think if you could sell your 7900 XTX and get a 9070 XT for like a similar price point, I honestly feel like the 9070 XT is way better. Its ray tracing performance is so much better. AMD jumped like a generation and a half on their ray tracing performance. Now they're still obviously behind, but it was an incredible jump, and I think it shouldn't be underestimated. Kind of like margin of error, kind of like the 4070 Super and the 4080 Super and the 4080. Yeah, that margin of error thing was tough. I've never played with a 4080 Super, so I couldn't tell you. It's funny. I have every 40 series card minus the 4080 Super. It's the only one I don't own. So it's the only one I haven't played with either. So I kind of can't really tell you much on that one. Yeah, the 7900 XTX is a good card. Like, it's a great card. Right now, though, it definitely costs too much. And if you could sell it and take advantage of the ray tracing improvement on the 9070 XT, I would the 9070 XT, I would 100% do that, hands down. And this buffering stuff is so bad. Like come on, AMD.
Possible today, and we are proud of
This
what we
presser
have
is
delivered.
so bad.
So proud to believe.
Like, I don't know. All right, Jay Styles is asking me thoughts on when the 5070 Ti may come out. What? You mean the... So right now there is a 5070 Ti. Do you mean the 5080 Ti? Or the 5070 Ti Super? All right, so I think, and the next part of his question he's asking, will there be a 5090 Ti or Super? All right, so look, I can say this. They're only going to put out what they have to put out, is my opinion. So if they don't need to put out a 5090 Ti, you won't see it. Like what happened with the 4090 Ti that never happened, you won't see it. You saw a 3090 Ti because they needed to put it out. So I believe it just depends on whether or not, sorry, I got a text, whether or not they need it or not. If they need to, they will. If they don't, they won't. That's kind of what I feel, honestly. Fall Boy says there's already pretty much a 5090 Ti out there. Yeah, but it's work center only. It's workstation only. I don't know. We'll see if they release one. I really only think they'll have to. They'll need to if they have to. And here's the thing. If they put out, if this thing from Copatite is real, where is it? If this is real, I'm just gonna get out of the AMD stream for a second. If this is real, then I think they're gonna cannibalize their 5090 demand. Like, why are you gonna buy a 5090?
We're so proud to believe.
This is nuts that this stream is lagging this bad. Why are you gonna buy a 5090 when you can get a 5080 with 24 gigs of RAM, VRAM? Now, I guess it depends on the price, right? Like, if they release, I don't know, just bear with me, right? Say the 5080 24 gig releases for like, I don't know, $1,700, right? And you can get one for like $2,200. Would you pay $2,200 for a 5080 24 gig, 5080 Super at 24 gigs, or $3,000 for a 5090 with 24 gigs? All right, so here's a funny thing. My buddy who's at the conference says their teleprompter live is lagging too, which is bad. So like, that's my question, right? It just depends. Unless they decide they're gonna kill the originals, right? Like, so basically they killed the 4080 in a year, and then the price of the 4080 went sky high. Funny enough. So will they kill the 4080 and will they kill the 5080 and the 5070 Ti in a year? Who knows? And how much overclocking headroom will we get on a 5080 24 gig, right? Like, it's just, there's just so many things that are interesting to consider. As far as I understand, I think we have about 15 to 17% performance left on the full die for GB202. This is so bad, this stream. Oh my goodness. I don't even want to roast AMD. Like, I like AMD. This is so bad. I'm going to try to keep going with this stream, but if I can't watch it, what is the point? So I'm gonna. So look, here's what I'm gonna do. It's 11:30. So I've been going for about an hour. I will stay on for about 15 more minutes. If this thing keeps lagging and we can't watch it, I mean, we kind of got what we wanted to see. So I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. This is weird. This is really weird. But hey, we can keep talking GPUs because I like talking GPUs while we watch this. Let's see. J Styles says that rumor for the 5070 Ti Super was all but confirmed from a source, just not release date. So I will ask. So I know somebody in the industry who's pretty connected, who tells me things and tells me if I can talk about him or not. I will ask him and see what he says and if I'm allowed to talk about it. And if I am, you'll hear from me. And if I'm not, you won't. Let's put it that way. Let's see. So apparently they're having hardware issues because their teleprompter is locking up too on site, which is really, really bad. This is embarrassing.
With AMD because you're late.
Yeah, I can't even get a signal. No, dude, it's okay. I can't spell ever, so you're not missing out. Look, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? Even if this stream is not performing well, at least they announced their GPUs. You should have seen, if you guys want to hear a story. So at CES, okay? I'm sitting at CES. I'm actually sitting next to Scattervault. He's a pretty big YouTuber. We're talking, right? And we both were on the press docket. We knew that they were going to announce the 9070 and the 9070 XT. They released those 4 slides that are infamous now that you all saw, right? So we're waiting. We get to like 5 minutes left in the presser, and they announce a partnership with Dell, and we're like, what? And then nothing, right? So maybe there's probably like, this is in the side hall in where was this? This was the Mandalay Bay, right? This is in a side hall in the Mandalay Bay. So there might have been like 300 members of the press in this press conference. So there's nothing, right? And this is my first press junket. This is my first embargo I was ever on. So I messaged my AMD rep, freaking out, which I'm actually going to message her right after this because I'm sure she's up, and I'm going to be like, hey, the stream failed. Is there anything else that I can talk about? Anyway, I asked her, I'm like, I have a video going live on the 9060 XT. Uh-oh, the stream totally died. First look. And she's like, yes, you can release it. And I said, are you sure? Because you guys didn't talk about it. Hold on, So they say yes, right? They say, yes, you can review it, release it. And I'm like, what? So I rush back to my room. I release an addendum. I'm talking to a bunch of YouTubers at the time. And we release the info on this GPU before AMD does. And it made no sense. I mean, in hindsight, it was the right move, I think. Because I think their MSRP was great. So in hindsight, it was a good move. But it was crazy because we could play with them. Like, I got a hands-on demo at the AMD booth with it. Like, you could play with them, you could look at them, and it was crazy, and it was nuts that they let us do all of that, and they wouldn't announce it. It might be because everyone is in AMD's conference. So he's telling me that there's a ton of people in there, and that's probably why it's dying, which is funny. I don't know, because at CES, their presser was way smaller than this. So anyway, back to the story, right? So we all could play with this GPU. Gigabyte and Asus both had demos of it, and we, like, and then AMD didn't announce it. So I don't know. It was kind of crazy. Oh, nope. Looks like we're back. Or not. Nope, we're not back. At least AMD does. Oh, all right. So Jay Styles says at least AMD doesn't say stuff like its 5070 has better performance than a 4090. I was at that keynote. I was sitting next to a bunch of Germans who did some car stuff. So I wasn't sitting close to any media that did that does GPUs or anything. And they looked at me and they're like, "Is that true?" And I laughed, and I'm like, there is no way that's true. I was like, bull, basically. Like at first, I was excited. I was there. It was fun. So I like bought into all the hype. And then I was like, wait a minute. That's a load of horse crap. So, but that was a cool one. You know, there were like 10,000 people at that keynote. Hold on. Wait, nope. Oh, wow. So, wait, that's it? It's done? Hold on. Is that it? Did the stream just die? They just ended the stream. All right. Well, I guess that makes our lives easier. All right. So to recap, we had a crash stream. We had the 9060 XT, which here, let's go back to that, right? All right. So let's talk about something that's fun, I guess. All right, so that stream is dead. Here's the 9070 XT specs from my press junket. I'm allowed to share these now. This is the only thing they talked about that I saw, really. Yeah, I just told you that 9070 XT at CES. That was wild. But they definitely didn't announce the Threadripper. They had a Threadripper they were talking about, and they had an AI work card that they were talking about. I'm going to ask if I can talk about those. I'm going to message my rep. That's really weird. All right, catching up on chat. I mean, we got people. We're hanging out. Let's talk for a bit. Let's see. At least AMD. I'm at the point where I'm debating on a 9060 XT 16 gig or 5060 Ti 16 gig. Listen. I think that the 5060 Ti priced right is not a bad card, but we need to see how it stacks up to the 9070 or the 9060 XT. I have my 5060 Ti for like another few days, so I'll play with it and I'll try to get some more info for you guys. I'll try to do some more benchmarks and stuff. I'm wondering how much bigger the boost clock will be on Doom 5080 than the normal one. I would probably say it'd come down to Silicon Lottery. Overland said they didn't announce the 9070 XT. I already told you about that story. If I had a nickel for any time AMD was supposed to announce a GPU at an event, I'd have 2 nickels. Well, all right. So to be fair, they announced the 9060 Ti. Did they announce the Threadripper or the commercial AI one? They did not. I have not heard anything about a 9070 GRE, and I have not had that confirmed to me yet. Let's see. So my buddy who's still in the AMD stream is telling me it's only boring enterprise stuff, talking about with TMSC. So we're not missing anything good right now. I look forward to even the 9070 XT if it ever comes. Or I'm sorry, the 9070 GRE. All right, so I will stay on for... All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay on until midnight. This Red Bull is kicking in, and I got a bit. So you ask me questions, or we keep talking. We can talk about other things at computex, and I'll answer. So far, day 2... This is day 2 just kind of starting, so we'll see... I guess we'll kind of just see what happens, really. We have the prices confirmed. 350 for the 16 gig and 300 for the 8 gig. If I'm going to try to get a review sample, I'm going to kind of beg for one. And if they don't send me one, I'll probably just buy the card, use like a profits from a flip and get it done. I'm sure someone like Hardware Unboxed will get their hands on a 9070 GRE. Well, I don't even know if they're making it. I haven't heard. I have more AIB sources in AMD than NVIDIA, and they haven't told me anything. But look, I'm still a pretty small time YouTuber, so like I'm still kind of on the outside looking in. You want some B-roll? Hold on one second. Sorry, my buddy was asking me if I want B-roll from Computex. can you go ahead and talk about the AI card? So look, they told me the embargo is released. Let me get here. I'll show you what I know about the AI card. They said I could. They said everything is out now. Let me. I gotta take this off screen, so you gotta give me a second. Whoops, that's me. I gotta take this window off screen. I don't know what I can show on that. I'll get you to the. I'll get to that. Cause they took the I'm pretty sure I can share this. So I'll show you all the AI slides. Yeah, it says I'm on. It says the embargo's off on it. So let me get you these. Since we got nothing else since AMD hasn't given us anything else. All right. Nope. All right. So here are the slides that they gave. Okay. So this is the embargo. This is the workstation card. Again, I hope I don't get in trouble, but this is what they can share. So if you guys want to check this out, this is for everybody who stayed on the stream. This is your reward. All right. So here is the R9700 RDNA 4 for professionals. That's just some random thing. Here are the specs. So it's got GDDR6, which is annoying. Here are the specs. I don't really know too much about this card, if we're being honest. I'm just sharing with you the slide. Let me see what else they gave us. It's supposedly 2x better performance than the last workstation card, which I heard was pretty good. I heard it was actually a pretty good card. And then here's their benches for LMM models. I don't know why they let us release this stuff and then they don't talk about it. But here it is. And you can pair a bunch of them with a Threadripper, which is kind of wild. Which I'll show you the Threadripper ones in a second. Yeah. I mean, I don't like the GDR6 on it. But I mean, if GDR6 helps keep the cost down, why not? All right, let me get you. So I'll just go back over the slides real quick. This is all they gave us. Wait, is there anything else? July 2025. Nothing else. All right, so scrolling back up just so you can see it. These are the slides. I'm sure they're all online now if you want to see them. Same with the Threadripper slide. Let me go ahead and get you the other one. I got to take this off so you can. I don't know if you're allowed to see what goes on behind the scenes. Let me get the Threadripper. I'm going to ask him if I can review the Threadripper too. That would be pretty amazing if they let me do that. Hold on. All right, let's all right, so here's the Threadripper. I guess they were supposed to announce this at Computex, available July 2025 for anybody still looking. Yeah, no, I can unzip those lips. I'm showing you guys everything I have. This is everything they showed us on the press embargo. I'm allowed to share it all with you. So if I'm not allowed to share it, I have a watermark that goes on the screen that has my email on it. So like I'm screwed if I release it. So I'm pretty sure I'm good for this. So here's the Threadripper. I'm actually going to ask them if they I'm going to see if they're going to let me review it. I'm kind of going to beg. It's pretty sweet. I've always wanted the Threadripper. Look at this. Whew. It's got a big TDP too. I mean, I think my power supply could handle it. That's a lot of cores and threads. I'm actually kind of excited talking about it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't talk about this, or maybe they are. I'm gonna ask real quick while you can see that. Like, they give you this, so, like, it's why I'm so hesitant to make videos, because this is my second press embargo for AMD, and literally the second time they've been like, yeah, we didn't show this. So here's the Threadripper. I'll keep going because there's a few more slides. All right, so they're talking about the Threadripper on stream now, so I can talk about it. Here's the product stack. I'm definitely gonna ask for one of these. We'll see if I get one. PCIe Gen 5 is pretty cool. I kind of like the so I don't know what the price is, but I kind of like the 9970. I feel like 32 cores and 64 threads is all most people are going to need. Like, who's going to need 64 cores and 128 threads? Like, what are you going to do? So I have a question. What are you guys going to do with 128 threads? Like, run all the Minecraft VRAMs? I don't know. Okay, so this is all they gave us for the Threadripper. No price. Maybe they did on stream. I'm going to ask if they announced a price. Let's see. It says, Overland says, I wonder how Zen 6 CPUs will be rolled out. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Like, so everything that I've heard and I'm embargoed with, I'm sharing with you right now. Let's see. Overland says, or J Style says, damn, July 25th release and no mention on stage. So they're mentioning the Threadripper on stage right now. It's just our thing is down. So let's go back up. I'll just review the slides one more time. I don't know who's going to need 96 cores, but if you guys have a cool use for 96 cores, that is awesome. 128 PCIe 5.0 lanes is going to be great for AI workloads. I can tell you that much. Pairing this with a bunch of 5090s is going to be sick. Sick with all of those PCIe lanes. Let's see. Zen 5 architecture. Yeah, I wonder how good it would be for gaming. Like, I really want to test one of these for gaming. And DDR5 6400 ECC memory support. That's insanity. Like, the thought of potentially getting to test these out makes me like excited thinking about it. I'm gonna ask. You never know, right? It's how I got my 9950X 3D. Let's see. I just think some of this is insanity, right? Like, I wonder how much. So I wonder how much the low end ones are going to cost, the 9955 and the 9945. And I wonder if they'll even be worth it if you have, like, I'm sure they'll be worth it, right? But I wonder if the price will be worth it for consumers. I don't have an answer to that. Minecraft Java Edition about to go crazy, right? Yeah, with all these cores and threads. So, like, you could have so many VLANs on this, right? So here's an interesting one. What if you took a 9985WX and you put, I don't know, right? Like, let's just say you put 5 4080s on it, right? Or 4090s, 5 40 series GPUs. Could you technically run 5 VLANs and game on them all with it? Right? Like, I would think you could pull it off. I mean, with 64 cores, you could literally, or what I said, the 9985, right? You forget about that one. The 9975 with 32 cores, right? You could take what? 6 cores? What's the I don't know. Let's play a game. My math is terrible right now. I'm a little tired. Let's do 32 divided by 5, right? I don't think that's not an even number. Nope, 6.4. So, like, let's just say you take 5 cores, or no, let's see. 30 divided by 6 gives you 5, all right? So you could give each of them 6 cores, right? And then shit, however many threads you want. You could take all the threads. So if you open up all those threads, how good would gaming be on that? That would be kind of fun to think about. I don't know how threads work, and I wouldn't know how that would work. I'm just spitballing here, but it seems like it'd be kind of fun. But wait, what? All right, so this is a high-end desktop, right? So it looks like, so hold on. So if these are like the WX series, which would be like workstation series, hold on. No, they're not really saying anything on the. I didn't really look at this that thoroughly. I was kind of more excited about the 9070 XT or the GPU. But like if these are the ones that they're giving us as far as desktop, I mean, that's pretty sweet. Right? Like I would love 32 cores, 64 threads. That would be pretty sweet with what you could do on it. I don't know. I just that interests me. Sorry, I just hold on. AMD just sent me an email. Yeah, they announced it all. So they announced the workstation. They announced everything. Actually, we just didn't get to hear it. So all of this stuff went live. I just got my rep, and then apparently they're going off script at the keynote, which is weird. Jack looks scared. Did the stream come back up? Does anybody know? I'm gonna double check real quick. I'm gonna check if anybody has an update on the AMD stream on Twitter. That would be great. I don't. Is it still working?
Came to the rescue.
No, it's dead. But everything it's dead. The stream is dead. They're going off script apparently, and people are freaking out. So all I have to go off of is these slides. You guys want to see the workstation slides again, or you want to look at the Threadripper ones? I'll show you here. I'll go back to the workstation ones real quick. All right, let's. I didn't get much. They really kind of didn't give us. What did they give us anything else on these? No, they didn't. They really didn't give us much to go off of with these slides. All right, let's go back to the workstation one. I still don't know why they went with GDDR6. Like 7's out. You couldn't go with 7. I just feel like it's. I don't know. All right, so apparently at the AMD presser, they're just going all over on script right now. Let's see. Imagine if SLI worked on the 5090. Yeah, right. So actually, what could you do with an SLI 3090 on one of these new Threadrippers? Probably not utilize it to its full capacity. I don't know what's going on at AMD, but I guess that's it. I mean, if you guys have any questions or any concerns or anything you're interested in, let me know. Like I said, I just got my full briefing. Let me see. Hold on. I just got my briefing. I'm trying to see. Here, actually, they just gave me all the slides. Here, let me get you. Hold on. I just got a press briefing with all the slides, so we can look at all the slides. Hold on. Did we? Yeah. If they let me look at it. Hold on. Let me see if I can download this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see. All right. Let's see if I can stream this. Yeah. All right. I got it. So let me go ahead and put this up for you guys. So here's all of the slides. Okay. So here's everything AMD shared at. This is the full thing. They just sent it to me. All right. Let's see. So, all right. So RDNA 4 does only work on the 9070 and 9070 XT, which is a bummer. I mean, this is cool. They're showing you Redstone. Here, let me see if I can make this. I can't really. All right. So this is a comparison of Redstone. That's the original image. I mean, it made it look a lot better. And then this is FSR Redstone. Oh, wow. I mean, that's ray regeneration, they call it. So, like, if I have a crappy picture, which I'm king of crappy pictures, you can take that and turn it into that. All right. I mean, that's That's pretty impressive, right? Like that's pretty damn impressive. Now, whether they can do it or not, we'll see. But if that's what FSR4 looks like, whew. All right. So they don't have a list. They just have 64 game titles, or 60 for FSR4. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. All right, this is cool. Okay, so these are the slides that you wanted to see. All right, so they're comparing 1440p performance against the 5060 Ti. All right, so they're comparing the 8 gig, which is not a fair comparison, but at least they admit it. Okay, so I guess this would be, I guess the 100% would be the 5060 Ti. Huh. Or I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it's up to 30% better. Still kind of cheating with what they're comparing it to. 15% performance per dollar over the 5060 Ti 8 gig, which means that it's probably equal or close to equal to the 5060 Ti 16 gig, which means I need to do comparisons for the B580. I have that. That's the next thing I'm going to compare to. I want to get that on video. So I don't really know how to compare this thing versus the B580, but I would assume it would be better because the B580, it kind of goes blow for blow with like the 3060. So that's interesting. Are we getting multi-frame gen on AMD? Yeah, I guess it says so. I didn't really hear him talk about it, but it looks like we are based on the slides. And then here are the price points. So so it says based on MSRP of May 2025, available June 5th, 2025. So I need to get on my begging train and beg for a sample. Looks like all the same sponsor, all the same board partners as before. Let's see. What is this? I don't know what the Ryzen AI. Oh, the Ryzen AI. I remember those. Talking about AI Max. Now, I didn't hear any of this. All right, so here's the Threadripper. That's pretty crazy. Wow. Holy shit. I really, really want to try one of these. Really want to try one of these. Wow. And they have support for Linux, which is nice. I'm just going through these slides fast. I already showed you the Ryzen, the AI card, which you saw. Wow, they're cheating. They're comparing that to the 5080. Wow, look at that. The cojones on AMD. Look at that comparison. The mock reference design looks so good. Yeah, Reluctant Hero, it does. That was one of the biggest things people were talking about at CES. They were like, damn, that looks good. And why don't we have it anymore? Which was a bummer. So let's see. I mean, that's crazy. It's just crazy. I don't know how much it's going to cost, though. Did they talk about the cost? No, but July 2025. That looks like everything. That looks like everything they announced. I still think it's crazy that they compared it to the to the 5080. Woo, that's nuts. That they compared it to the 5080. Yeah, I guess that's everything, guys. So we just hit 12:04. I'm pretty tired. I'm gonna go. I thank you guys for showing up. I got a lot of views. I really, really appreciate it. you guys got everything I got live, and this price point is good. I think that I think it's going to be fun on the low end. So we'll see. We'll see what this brings. Hopefully, I get a sample. We'll see. All right, guys. That's it. That's it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to probably try to do streams once a week, like in a podcast style format, but I'm going to have like a topic to talk about that'll be much more researched so that we can talk about it. So this was kind of just a first off the cuff stream. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Seriously, it meant the world to me, everybody who appeared. And I hope I gave you guys a fun stream that was worth talking about. So that's it for this one. Remember, hit that like button, smash that sub button, and